Welcome to Doctors Unbound, your show devoted to doctors who are, well, unbound by physician stereotypes. Get a behind-the-scenes look at doctors that are breaking the mold and breaking into the worlds of technology, writing, investing, politics, just to name a few. This is Doctors Unbound, where you'll hear from experts with the insights to help you go to the next level. Let's get this show started. Here is your host, Dr. Dave Draginas.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the launching episode of the Doctors Unbound podcast. Thank you for listening in. I am so glad that you are here today. I am very excited to launch Doctors Unbound, where I will be highlighting physicians doing interesting things outside of typical clinical practice. I will also bring in experts that have some kind of specific knowledge that can help doctors achieve next level success in certain areas. I've had this idea for this podcast for many, many years. And like many of us, maybe we have a side project that we've been thinking about, but life happens and it kind of goes on the back burner. But the desire kind of remained there, flickering away. And after listening to similar podcasts and really enjoying them, they were good. I still found that I was wanting more content and was left wanting more. So I decided to create the show that I always wanted to listen to myself. There are two really big reasons that I have for doing this show. And the first reason is to help physicians achieve next level success. And I think that a good way to do this is by learning from our peers who are experts in certain areas, so that together we can learn from each other and achieve next level success. As you'll see from the coming episodes, there are physicians that are expert bloggers, they're expert investors, maybe they're politicians that are affecting policy on a national level. Just so much talent in our physician space. And I want to bring these physicians in so that we can learn from each other and grow together. The second reason is to promote and uplift the image of the physician community. I think over the years, maybe there's been some dwindling of that image. Certainly, I think that contributes to some of the burnout that we see with physicians. And I want this podcast to be a positive message, a positive image for the physician community. So I'm super excited to get this project started. It's been years in the making, and I'm so excited to finally be launched. I'll tell you a little bit about the show format, how I see this developing, although I reserve the right to change things up as the audience finds it useful. Typically, you can expect one interview a week where we'll do a deep dive interview with a physician or expert that is doing something interesting in their space. And after that, one interview a week, there may be a bonus episode. I can't promise to do this every week. I don't want to put out content just for content's sake, but maybe if there are some points in a particular interview that warrant a deeper look, then I can go back to the drawing board, do some research, and then present a solo episode to you all about some specific issues that came up, some specific topics that came up in a particular interview episode. Alternatively, if there's something interesting going on, something poignant that's going on in our community, then maybe we'll talk about that in one of these bonus episodes. So the bonus episodes may come and go depending on relevance, but you can count on one interview a week where we'll have a great interview with a physician or expert that really uplift and bring some meaty knowledge to physicians. So that's a primer on how I expect the show to be, how I expect the show to go. Now I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. I am a full-time practicing physician in anesthesiologist. I have the pleasure of practicing in the Dallas area in private practice. Before coming to private practice, I was a military physician with the U.S. Navy. I spent about 3.5 years taking care of our soldiers, their families, retirees. I had such a wonderful time taking care of really the best of our country and their families. I also had a chance to make some lifelong friendships in the Navy. As you can imagine, when you go through something like that, as you go through the tough times in the Navy, you make some pretty strong bonds. So I made some great friendships that will really last a lifetime. I am also blessed to have a wonderful, supportive wife and 3 wonderful kids. I'd like to start off by giving a wonderful shout out to my wife. If it weren't for her, this podcast wouldn't be possible. What she does to support me, to support our family, to take care of our kids, and take care of our home is just awe-inspiring. If it weren't for her, I really wouldn't have the time or energy to be able to get this project started. As I mentioned just a second ago, we have 3 wonderful kids, small kids, so about 4, 2.5, and 11 months here as we're getting launched. So it's just fun to see them grow, but it is a handful. It definitely is a handful when you've got 3 little ones, but as you'll see probably in some coming episodes, sometimes the little ones teach us lessons as well. So I'll bring you some more information about myself, about my family, I'm sure, as this podcast develops. Things that I like to do when there's some spare time. Love sports, grew up playing sports and always loved sports. As far as watching, college football is probably number 1, and the season is underway, and I'm excited about that. My Trojans passed an early test at Stanford. Was not expecting them to play as well as they did, but they did awesome. Fight on. We'll see if they're able to keep it up for the rest of the season. Grew up playing basketball, played a lot of basketball, varsity basketball, things like that. Wonderful sport to keep in shape. Haven't kept in shape as much as I'd like to recently, but basketball is definitely one of the loves up there. And traveling. My wife and I, when we get a chance to, we love to do traveling. Recently, our favorite destinations have been beach destinations. So wondering about you out there, do you love to travel, and what areas do you like to go visit? So that is it here with the initial launching episode. Hopefully I've given you a good idea about what this podcast is going to be about, what you as the listener will be able to get out of it, why I want to do this podcast, kind of the aspirations and the hopes and the bigger picture of why I think this podcast is important, and a little bit about myself, your humble podcaster here. So I hope that this will be intriguing for you, that you'll find value in it. And I'm looking forward to having you come along for this journey with me. As I wrap up this episode, I have 2 important asks of you, my audience. If you think that there's value in this podcast, please tell somebody you know about it, somebody who you think might benefit or enjoy it. Please let them know. Please share it. By doing so, the podcast will grow. I'll be able to continue to bring you awesome, wonderful guests. And number 2, as I was talking about earlier with the traveling, I'd like to know, if you like to travel, what is your favorite destination? Is there a favorite beach destination that you like, or someplace else? Please let me know. Contact me. You can do it on the website, Doctors Unbound, or via Twitter or Facebook. Let me know. Thank you again for listening in. And as you listen to this, there'll be 2 other episodes ready to go in the launch phase here. So I hope you enjoy the 2 episodes that are to follow on Doctors Unbound.
Thank you for listening to Doctors Unbound podcast. Remember to head over to doctorsunbound.com to access all the show notes and resources discussed in this episode. Now, it's your turn to be unbound.